Live from Southern California, it's Pac-12 Women's Volleyball presented by Tashikara. Tonight, the UCLA Bruins hosting the Arizona State Sun Devils. Taking a look at the Pac-12 standings, is the third week of conference play, and Washington State and Oregon are still undefeated in Pac-12 play. Meanwhile, in the middle of the conference, teams are all jammed up. UCLA trying to move up. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside three-time Olympian Holly McPeak. And Holly, I just mentioned UCLA. They split their first 2 weeks in conference. Why?
Well, according to Coach Michael Seeley for UCLA, he's trying to find the right lineup. They are a work in progress. They have a very short preseason. He has changed the lineup 3 times already. We're going to see a new version of that. So they're just working on getting better every match.
They have a lot of weapons, UCLA does, including Jordan Anderson.
Lots of weapons on the UCLA side of the net, and Coach Michael Seeley trying to use all of them. Number one, Jordan Anderson is so physical. She can dominate a match. She's got all the weapons, but one of her favorites is the wrist away. She doesn't look, faces angle, and really can power the ball down from anywhere on the court.
Meanwhile, they'll be facing Arizona State. Arizona State still looking for their first win in conference play. What do they need to do to get it?
Well, Arizona State has a new direction, a new head coach in Stevie Mussey, but they've got a lot of good athletes on the floor. They outblocked USC Wednesday night, and I expect them to put up a big fight. They're hungry for their first win.
Arizona State is playing 18 of their first 20 matches on the road. They want to go home with a win. UCLA trying to protect their home corner. We're going to take you through the lineups right after the break.
Introducing the new 5W Prime from Top.
Welcome back to Pauley Pavilion. Pac-12 Women's Volleyball presented by Tashikara about to get underway. Let's take a look at our Tashikara starting lineup, starting with the Arizona State Sun Devils. Holly, what's special about them?
Well, both teams running a 6-2 offense. That means they're running 2 setters. Kylie Pickrell and Nicole Peterson will be running the Arizona State offense tonight.
Under first-year head coach Stevie Mussey, who played for Washington, was an assistant at Penn State. She liked a little bit of what she saw the other day. Taking a look at UCLA's starting lineup, they also run a 6-2.
It's interesting. Lots of teams going in that direction. 2 setters running the UCLA offense. Kylie Miller, the freshman, and Ryan Chandler.
Michael Seeley, you mentioned, he calls it 3.0, the offense, because he has changed it up again and again and again. What can we expect to see tonight?
Well, it's going to be interesting because traditional 6-2 offense, a setter will come in the back row for a right side player, but now they're going to try and mix that up and have the setters going for the middle blockers. So just trying to get a different look for the Bruins and score more points.
Yeah, and gives them a few more defensive options, especially with Zana Muno, who's starting in right front right now for UCLA, a great defender. Kylie Miller, the setter, is going to start serving for the Bruins. Middle attack right away. Formico pops it up. Anderson will take her first swing of the day. And a net violation on Sun Devils.
Well, we saw what UCLA does really well. They dig the ball and transition. At that time, a net violation by Arizona State. But you're going to see UCLA play some great defense.
Down the line, Leffel passes. And from the back court, some heat brought by the Devils. Jeremic.
Ivana Jeremic out of the back row, and now she rotates to the front row. Look for her to get a lot of balls on the right side for the Sun Devils.
Freshman setter Nicole Peterson serving. Originally was going to go to San Francisco, and they had a coaching change. She changed her mind, went to ASU. Muno. That one wide.
Good looking swing by Zana Muno. You saw her as a setter last year for the Bruins. This year, they're using her as an opposite. Great defender, great all-around player, just missing that ball wide.
And you talked about the offensive change. Muno's part of the reason why, because she's such a great defender.
You need her on the floor.
Formico passes, they go to the middle. First touch by Cassidy Pickrell. Solid block, that's what the Sun Devils do well.
Arizona State outblocked USC Wednesday This is a big block. Look at the close block. Turning that ball back into the court for the Arizona State point.
Yeah, outblocked them 9-6, and especially a big third set that Arizona State took off of SC. Formico, that one was over, and it was played back by O'Carroll.
Right now, pressure from the service line for Arizona State, allowing them to score easy points. This pass too tight to the net, and Oluwamo Okaro, easy kill.
And in the 6'2", Kylie Miller can't go up and get that as it was going over, and so her hands were tied. Serve is long. Peterson, according to her coach, has a great volleyball mind. Very happy to have her setting. They had some injuries earlier in the year. Munoz serve, passed by Hallie Harker. Peterson digs, Harker sets, Pickrell tries to swing along, and it's sent outside.
Cassidy Pickrell on the right side. That ball set off the net, not an ideal location, but she takes a smart swing for the Arizona State point.
Pickrell led the Sun Devils in kills last year, a 6-rotation player, plenty of energy. Another attack error, and Arizona State widens their lead.
One of the reasons UCLA went to the 6-2 offense is if the pass was a little off, they'd have 3 options. We've seen the UCLA Bruins use a lot of right side attack to start off this match.
This is the first match that they're going with this offense. They only had a couple of days to work on it this week, but that has been in place for years.
Claire Felix, usually good off 1 foot behind the setter. That time she shows she's got range in front of the setter.
Felix at 6'6", Jenny Frager 6'5". UCLA with plenty of length in the middle. Formico serving. Harker's pass is off. Nice set there. Picked up. Net's closed by Bushler.
Solo block for Riley Bushler, who does a good job keeping her eyes on the ball. They call this nice eye work. Watches what's going on, presses over. She's all by herself, no help from the middle blocker. Good execution.
Over. Okaro. Oluwamo
Okaro is way up there. She's got beautiful offensive range. You pass that ball anywhere tight to the net, she's going to take it.
Stevie Mussey says that for Okaro, she wants to know if she can maintain her volleyball IQ throughout the match. That is what Mussey has said. Overall for her team, she sees moments of brilliance. She wants it extended.
And if you look at the bench for Arizona State, this coaching staff is pretty impressive. Stevie Mussey, Sonia Tomasevic, Tama Miyashiro, all former NCAA champs from the Washington Husky team. Lots of knowledge and experience there.
Certainly, and then Chris Rose also on that bench, son of Russ Rose, 7-time national champions, Penn State.
They know a little bit about winning.
They know about winning, and they're trying to figure out a way to bring it to the Sun Devils right now. Pickrell's pass, the clean. They're hitting Peterson a lot. She's digging a lot of balls already. Bushler turns it. Smooth.
We know we're going to see lots of digs on both sides of the net. Who's going to be able to put it away? This time, Riley Bushler. First it starts with the dig by Taylor Formico, and then outside, Riley Bushler turns it down the line. Beautiful.
Ryan Chandler now setting and serving. Whoa. Not using me.
Riley Bushler being very disciplined as a blocker. When you're out close to the antenna, it's easy to get used, but she's making sure she turns those hands back in the court for a Bruin block.
So satisfying, saying, I know what you're thinking, and you're not doing that to me. That left hand was solid. Pickrell's pass off. McLean uses the hands.
Tori Van Winden, number 5 in blue. The freshman opposite needs to seal that net and really seal the line so players can't tool her and go off of her.
Kylie Pickrell, the other part of the 6'2" offense, now serving and setting for Arizona State. Sends it in the net. Kylie Pickrell came to Arizona State last year. Cassidy Pickrell transferred over to play with her sister. And here's Tori Van Winden serving. Back to McLean. Wow, Bushler looking strong.
Beautiful set out to the pin, and because Jenny Frager is such a threat in the middle, that holds the Arizona State middle blocker. Riley Bushler gets a 1-on-1 situation.
Van Winden again, as UCLA has their first lead of the night. And Bushler just chopping away, doing work.
Riley Bushler, 3 in blue, doing work tonight. She's very disciplined and very deliberate in what she's trying to do.
3 kills already in just these 10 UCLA points. They're going to work that middle if they can.
Little miscommunication there. Tori Van Winden was middle back, not expecting to have to step in to set that ball. Straight up, and then Ryan Chandler just hesitates a little, and that's all it takes.
Lexi McLean, Stevie Musser calls her the heartbeat of the team, serving. Woki wanted that.
Machi Nwoki, just a freshman at 6'1". She's very physical, but just learning on the job. Didn't have a good angle to hit that ball. She needs to keep that in play for Arizona State.
Riley Bushler, now a junior with this program, has been contributing every year. She has been here piece by piece, also part of the beach volleyball team. So Hallie Harker, 3-year starting libero for Arizona State, serving. Anderson hit the top of the tape.
When we talked to Michael Seeley, he talked about green light, yellow light, red light situations. That was a yellow light situation. You don't go for the kill. You make a smart swing, a little too aggressive on that particular play by Anderson.
And what decides what's a red light, yellow light, or a green light?
The pass and the set. Is it a hittable ball where you can score? Green light, go for it, go aggressive. If it's a ball you have to get over the net, it's just a red light, get it over and play defense.
Meanwhile, Stevie Mussey, head coach in her first year at Arizona State, graduated about 70% of their offense. So really, she came in and is building it with the pieces she has, was able to get a few more pieces. She joined the team in February.
Get out here. Let's go.
Solid block on Anderson.
I'll tell you, Michael Seeley talked about the athletes on the court for Arizona State, and we're seeing it off the block right there. Beautiful close for the Arizona State block.
Formico passes outside to Anderson, and she rips.
Love that turn down the line by Jordan Anderson. It's got such great velocity, high contact point, fun to watch.
Arizona State hangs on to a 1-point lead in a very competitive first set. Back, elevation. One hand on from Leffel.
That was a yellow light situation, but Jordan Anderson, great decision to go corner. What a dig by freshman Kylie Miller. Beautiful transition by the Bruins.
Taylor Formico does so many things well, including setting a ball like that. Middle.
When Claire Felix is at the net, she's got some angles at 6'6". You have to be ready if you're in the front row. Hands up if you're not at the net blocking.
Insult to injury, off a hand and then off your teammate's face. Solid pass, they run the middle. Big dig. Zana Muno has crafty. Pickrell with power.
Cassidy Pickrell got her feet to that ball and hit a very sharp angle to end that rally for Arizona State. This ball is a tough angle coming over your shoulder, but Cassidy Pickrell does the work with her feet, hits that very sharp angle.
Pickrell up front with Okaro and Yeremich. Peterson serving. Muno, solid pass. They go outside. And so we go to break with UCLA a 1-point lead.
Pac-12 Los Angeles.
This Pac-12 women's volleyball match is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. And brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Beautiful Southern California night. UCLA and Arizona State trading blows in the first set of this Pac-12 volleyball presented by Tashikara. Zana Muno serving. Holly, what stood out to you so far?
Well, both teams hitting well below their normal hitting average, both below 200. Arizona State 182, UCLA only 130. That means they're not playing that clean offensively, and there's some good defense being played.
Yeah, and the 6 attack errors by UCLA, when you look at 14 points for Arizona State, 8 of those Arizona State earned, 6 were given to them by the Bruins.
Exactly.
And a service error, so actually 7. Muno. Nice serve, pulls Arizona State well out of system. Tori Van Winden. Free ball. And a scary moment for Arizona State, not communicating. And too much from Van Winden there, sharp.
I like that set. It was pretty fast out to the antenna. Could be maybe a little bit higher for 6'3" Tori Van Winden, but I like it. Bruins just don't seem crisp yet offensively. I know they're trying this new lineup, but I don't feel like they're hitting on all cylinders quite yet.
Felix with an open net.
Claire Felix feels very comfortable behind the setter. That time she jumped off 2 feet. Usually she's off 1. But it starts with a pass a little bit to the left, and it forces the middle player, the middle attacker, to go behind the setter.
How about setting the middle on a pass like that? It works.
That's gutsy. I like it. When you've got that kind of confidence in your middle blocker, it doesn't matter where the pass is. If the hitter makes herself available, you set her.
Okaro transferred from San Francisco. Peterson was going to go to San Francisco. They brought that connection with him. Bushler has heat tonight. Yeremich's ball goes long.
Solid dig by Pickrell, but Arizona State unable to keep the ball in the court.
UCLA 2-point lead, their biggest lead of the night, I believe that is. It's been so tight all night. Ryan Chandler serving. They're going at Cassidy Pickrell. Van Winden, dug well by Harker. And there's the lengths of Van Winden. Peterson makes that block move with the set, but it's out.
Again, really disciplined blocking that last rally by Bruins on both sides of the net, right and left side. Riley Bushler has been a solid left side blocker for the Bruins tonight.
Yes, she did. That's Wokey.
Wow. Wow. Looked like an easy opportunity for Tori Van Winden, but Mashi Wokey out of nowhere. Good blocking technique, pushing over the net. Big ASU point.
Kylie Pickrell, another service error, second consecutive for her. Got to forget it and move on. It's a 3-point lead for the Bruins. And here comes Savvy Simo to serve. We talked about the weapons that UCLA has. Michael Seeley saying he has so many, he doesn't have time to get them all in.
Well, Savvy-Simo, they only are using her as a defensive specialist, but she can bring the heat. He says she hits the heaviest ball in the gym for the Bruins, so a chance to get her on the court right now.
Well, let's take a look during this break at the poll. The ABCA Women's Top 10. Everything's been shifting around this week. Both number ones lost earlier this last 2 weeks.
It's a fantastic year in women's volleyball. I'll tell you, Washington State is legit. They are fun to watch with some big upsets already. Undefeated in the Pac-12 right now. But I'll tell you, I feel like this year's up in the air in terms of NCAA championship. No major frontrunners. I would think Nebraska, but Minnesota just lost as well. So I just feel like anybody can win. And Florida's super physical. I feel like all the Pac-12 teams are still trying to figure it out. Stanford, all new players on the floor. They lost Haley Hodgson for the season, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to see who comes out of this battle in the Pac-12.
Jordan Anderson having a good time right now during this break. 5 kills. It's been a lot of fun. A transfer from West Virginia came in last year, carried a very heavy load. And as the season has changed over the last 2 years and her role has changed, her attitude has been tremendous, the coach is telling us, doing what the team needs.
Yeah, and that's important. With this kind of talent, this kind of competition, you need to be a team player. You need to do what your team asks of you.
So Savvy-Simo now serving. Outside.
Jasmine Coots hit that seam so fast for the Sun Devils. UCLA Bruins have to close that low seam.
Outside. To the line. They're feeding the middles plenty at Arizona State.
Well, there's lots of confidence there. Aluamo Okaro again, she gets up so high. Even though she doesn't connect fully, she gets a little touch, able to get that to drop.
Next set to the middles will be the 10th for Arizona State. Net violation against the Sun Devils, point Bruins.
Bruins running the middle, but Arizona State digging that ball up. Just a net violation takes that point away.
Riley Bushler's serve, passed by Harker. Sharp angle that you told us about at the beginning, that wrist away. How about that dig? There's some long players up front for Arizona State. Well dug by Leffel. Is it going to happen at the net? Tough angle, big block in front. Pickrell takes a good swing. Anderson buries the ball.
It's interesting because if you watch UCLA rally, they've got 3 options off that free ball, 3 legitimate options. That puts a lot of stress on the opponent's block, and you see the middle blocker for Arizona State late on that play.
Another service error.
It's interesting to see Riley Bushler go off the floor. She's such a major ball control player. I'm so used to seeing her 6 rotations for UCLA.
Well, I think a lot of these players, that's one of the things that Michael Seeley's talked about. He has a lot of people who could play 6 rotations. That's why he's a bit of a mad scientist with the lineup right now. He's enjoying it. Pickrell and the Sun Devils will not go away.
Arizona State Pickrell staying aggressive, attacking that block, especially the seam.
Prager, dug by Leffel. And then a double called.
Arizona State's defense digging some really nice balls, but the blockers are a little too aggressive. They've had 3 or 4 net violations taking those digs away.
And we're going to let them take a few moments and talk about it. Holly, neither team hitting well still when you look at their hitting percentage.
Amazing. UCLA's leading 23-21, and they're hitting 128. Those are really low numbers. Coach Michael Sealy's not going to be happy. But on the other side of the net, 167 for Arizona State, well below their season average. Actually, Arizona State's numbers have been 189 as a team on the whole season. UCLA 229.
Michael Sealy coaching the UCLA Bruins. He spent this summer coaching the Pac-12 All-Stars in China.
Is reality. So sometimes the game is we all go, right? Here we go.
Here we go right now, come on.
We thought was our best opportunity. We played that lineup in the tournament. Wow.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
And what a great experience that was, not just for the players, but for Michael Sealy as well, coaching the best of the best in the conference.
Yeah, it exposes him to other players and exposes the players to get to play with all the players they compete against all the time. I think it's a really fun experience. And then the travel and cultural part of that trip as well.
One of the things that you and I were talking about with Michael Sealy, he is unafraid to try new things. And he called this 3.0, the third adjustment to their offense, and we just started October.
Yeah, and he liked what he saw in practice. He said, we've put up some really good numbers this week in practice. We'll see how it goes.
Kylie Miller serving for the Bruins. 2-point lead. Set one. To the middle. And then outside the block, outstanding. Fifth block for Arizona State.
Jasmine Kuntz and Aluamo Okaro. Big physical block. Both players reaching way over the net. Jordan Anderson, who likes that line, had nowhere to go.
Stevie Mussey having a few words with Kuntz. Peterson now serving. Sun Devils down by one. And an ace serve for the Sun Devils ties it up.
Beautiful jump serve by Nicole Peterson. Good toss. She goes up really aggressive. Deep between two passers.
And of course, one of the things that deep between two passers is two people who haven't passed next to each other that often this year. And you talked about Washington State up top. Let's take a look at the Pac-12 teams in the poll.
Stanford, very physical, great young freshman, especially Catherine Plummer, putting up some big numbers. And then Washington State, I was there when Washington State went on Washington Huskies floor and beat them in 4. UCLA still figuring it out, but had a pretty good season so far. Colorado upset UCLA last week. In Oregon, undefeated in conference play so far, really figuring things out.
Yeah, Oregon's going to be at home next week, hosting this UCLA team and USC.
And USC getting better every match. They had a rough start. I believe they were 0-3 before they figured it out. But now their goal is let's just get better every match, and they've got the weapons, that's for sure.
LA, UC, LA, UC, LA.
And the UCLA Bruins fans here to support the Bruins right after losing that match to CU. Back at home this weekend, the start of their weekend play, they will face Arizona, host them here at Pauley Pavilion on Sunday. Tied up at 23 apiece, Peterson serving. Formico on the money pass. They got the touch or no? They did.
That's a big point for UCLA.
So it is set point for UCLA. Zana Muno in the backcourt. That is the change that was made for this set, and that's the way they're going to end this set. Muno playing all the way around, a great defender. Perfect pass. Pick roll. Rips it. It's dug. And that's a tight ball. Was there a touch? There was. And UCLA takes set number 1 off of 2 touch balls.
That was the best swing of the set so far from Jordan Anderson, high and flat to end that first set.
A tightly contested set, 5 blocks for Arizona State, but a couple of touched balls, and the Bruins take set 1.
You're watching Pac-12 Live.
Tires on your car today.
Pac-12 volleyball presented by Tashi Kara. Set 1 in the books. UCLA at the end, a couple of plays after it was tied 23 apiece. Anne-Marie Anderson alongside 3-time Olympian Holly McPeak. Holly, what was the difference?
Well, I was really happy with the way Arizona State played. They blocked extremely well. Both teams hit under par, but Jordan Anderson was the difference for UCLA. She ended that match with a flat transition swing off the block. But we talked about her in the open. She just gets it done. Big power down the line from off the net, and then in transition, a little tip shot. She's got all the offensive weapons for UCLA.
Offensively, it was really Anderson, Bushler, who had three kills on 5 swings, and Claire Felix out of the middle, 4 kills in just the first set.
If you look at the stats for UCLA, both opposites hitting negative. That's a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it is, especially with Tori Van Winden and Zana Muno playing 6 rotations this time around.
Both Zana Muno and Tori Van Winden, great all-around volleyball players who Coach Michael Sealy wants on the court for defense, for volleyball IQ, for everything. They add to the Bruin team, and that's why he's trying this lineup to keep them on the floor.
Well, set 1 was a tight one. We'll see what happens in set 2. Peterson starting off the serving for the Sun Devils. Muno on the money. The set was low though, and back out to Anderson. Master off the hand, off the antenna.
That was a trouble set, but Jordan Anderson, good decision, little touch shot off the block.
Anderson's been taking a lot of swings for a long time. Led the Big 12 in sets before she got here. Over 1,000 swings 2 years in a row. Take a look at the stats from set number 1.
As I said before, Arizona State out hitting UCLA, but the hitting errors for UCLA was the problem. At the end, UCLA had the edge with kills 15-11.
Muno's pass is right on the money, and Van Winden finds the campfire.
Good push out to the antenna by freshman Kylie Miller. Tori Van Winden, little finesse shot. Tori Van Winden, number 5 in blue, a very established beach volleyball player, represented the U.S. overseas with Sarah Sponsel from Loyola Marymount, our best USA hope at that age. Very talented. There she shows she can get it done, blocking at the net. Beautiful by Tori Van Winden.
Peterson sends it back, solo by Bushler.
Riley Bushler, solo block. That's, I believe, her 3rd all by herself. She's doing such a good job tracking the ball, and then discipline, hands over the net for UCLA.
Bushler from a big volleyball family, long history of tremendous volleyball players. And the block has come alive for the Bruins in set 2.
More on Riley Bushler. Father, Judd Bushler, longtime NBA player for the Bulls, won some championships, and then mom, Lindsey Hahn, played at Arizona. Sister, or aunt, to Riley Bushler, Piper Hahn, played at Stanford. So big volleyball family.
Lexi McLean sends that one down the line to put Arizona State at the service line.
Lexi McLean really struggling with injuries, but as you said earlier, the heartbeat of this Arizona State team. She's leading, pushing her team, trying to make everybody better.
Aluma Okaro, the junior transfer from San Francisco, serving. Tough serve, an ace from Okaro.
Oluoma Akaro attacking again the seam between two players, Taylor Formico and Tori Van Winden. Tori Van Winden a little tentative. Those two players new in the passing lineup next to each other.
What a control from Formico. Back to Van Winden, started by Formico.
Love the pass, love the set, and the delivery. Tori Van Winden looking good offensively from the right. I feel like the UCLA offense running a little more smoothly in this second set.
Well, the numbers tell a story. It's very early, but they're 3 for 4, hitting .750, while Arizona State is 1 for 4 with 3 errors, hitting negative. So things are going completely the Bruin way so far.
Ryan Chandler jump float serve, just pops it, catches the top of the tape and drops for the UCLA ace.
And Holly, this is what Stevie Mussey has been talking about. She's seen great moments, great stretches from her team, including that first set here tonight. But she has said she needs to see that sustained.
Yes, and that's the challenge of having a young team.
So UCLA up by 5, Arizona State going to talk about it.
Of the UCLA Bruins. You're watching
Big at the net.
Sunday at 11 on Pac-12 Network.
The house that Wooden built, and UCLA is making him proud. A 5-point lead in set number 2. UCLA men's basketball, including Thomas Welsh. They're cheering on. They had practice right before this game when you and I arrived. They were working hard.
Everybody excited about the upcoming season.
And excited about this Bruins season as well. The 18th ranked team in the nation, coming off a loss to a very good Colorado team. Looking like they made some adjustments in the second set. Bushler been on fire all night. Free ball to the Bruins. Green light. The defense sends it back. Bushler again. She puts it away.
Good, calm play, smart decision by Riley Bushler. High, flat, attacking the seam of the block. That's the area right between the two blockers. We know UCLA is going to dig a lot of balls. Can they put it away to win the rallies?
Well, that was UCLA's identity for so many years, and they graduated Carly Jolson and Kelly Inouye last year, two of their big defenders. Michael Seeley said that's part of what he wanted to get back to today, putting Zana Muno and Tori Van Winden back there.
Big time block right there by Jenny Frager, but yes, he wants smart volleyball players who are going to make good reads, and defenders right there. Jenny Frager, long UCLA block at the net.
Peterson to the backcourt, Pickrell, it's long.
Cassidy Pickrell trying to get that deep corner, just missing by inches. Right now, UCLA on a little scoring run.
And another attack error for Arizona State. They've had 5. Now make that 6 in this match.
I feel like they've had some good-looking attempts. They're not real out-of-system plays, but just missing by inches. Right now, Pickrell trying to retie her shoes, slow things down a little bit for Arizona State. They need to stop the scoring run by the Bruins.
You unlace them all the way and lace them back up all the way. This is what we started to talk about, though. Stevie Mussey saying she needs to see sustained excellence.
Yes, you're right. You know, when you have a new young team and they're learning new things in the gym, learning to maintain that, being mindful every play. It's exhausting, but it's the right way to play, and that's what Stevie Mussey and her coaching staff is teaching.
Arizona State trying to get it started with that attack off the hands.
The difference between great teams and the best teams are the little plays, and that's being mindful of every touch, every contact of the ball, whether you're in the practice gym or competing in the match.
Well, and that's one of the tough things about playing in the Pac-12 is that Arizona State is a really good team, but it's brutal in the Pac-12. Bushler keeps it in. Outside again. Parker gets a hand on it, but there's a table in the way of the chase. Defense is safe.
Riley Bushler had a yellow light swing and then a green light swing. The second one, she was much more aggressive. This one in transition, good location, and then Riley Bushler brings the heat for the Bruins.
And for anybody that joined us late, the yellow light, red light, stop light is an analogy that Michael Seeley uses to describe the options and the choices you should make. Muno chops it off the hands.
Good looking transition swing by libero Taylor Formico. I love how she runs the court.
It's the first kill of the day for Zana Muno, and Savvy-Simo in now serving for the Bruins.
Right now, the Bruins putting pressure on Arizona State from the service line, but Arizona State needs to manage their offense better, make better decisions.
Michael Seeley observing his work, watching his team having made their adjustments.
Another unforced hitting error, and Stevie Mussey, Sonia Tomasevic talking to their players, trying to get them out of this rotation.
Outside again, Kuhn sends it deep. One-on-one, not going to be enough for Bushler tonight.
Second ball going out to Riley Bushler, could have gone middle. Great pass. Jenny Frager hits for such a high clip, the middle blocker stays, and then Riley Bushler gets the easy kill on the left.
6 kills on 12 swings for Riley Bushler, no errors. Kuntz doesn't care, puts it down.
Jasmine Kuntz attacking the smaller blocker, Zana Muno down the line for Arizona State. Big deficit right now. They need to score some points with an aggressive serve. Testing the new player in the serve receive, Zana Muno, number 7. New in the passing lineup. She's a very good passer, great all-around player for UCLA.
Gonna make sure this one's on the money. Back to Bushler, bounced off the head in the Tylenol moment.
Riley Bushler on fire. She's so fun to watch, work so hard and deliberate when she's going to attack that ball, making good decisions.
A nice woman with a mean swing, 7 kills, still error-free.
Late press on the block by Jenny Frager, and Arizona State's able to squeak that ball by at the net.
And you want to know how talented this UCLA team is? Riley Bushler just rotated out. Even when you're that good, there's people that come in. The Bruins roll on. Kylie Miller serving. Perfect pass, goes back. Formico makes it work a little. No touch there. Arizona State ball.
Timing off by Jordan Anderson. She's on the way down. She's too early on her approach and doesn't get her high contact point.
Plenty of smiles on the Bruins side, and rightly so, and you've built an 11-point cushion. Nicole Peterson, feisty, as described by head coach Stevie Mussey. What a heck of a serve she does, plenty of power. Anderson, that one, just well wide.
Well, we know Jordan Anderson can hit that angle, we've seen it, but that was a tough play when the ball's coming from off the net to hit that angle.
Simo, perfect pass. Block, but the pickup's even better by Okaro. Just not enough gas and 4 hits.
Good scramble play by Nicole Peterson to keep that alive for Arizona State.
Coming up after this set, we're going to send you back to our Pac-12 Network studios for the Sports Report update. Kate Harrison is in studio. She's going to give you a status update of Arizona State quarterback Manny Wilkins, and then take you through the highlights of women's volleyball. 19th ranked Colorado versus 7th ranked Stanford. That'll be an interesting one. The first match for the Cardinal without Haley Hodson on their roster in Colorado for Stanford, and then Colorado coming off of the win against UCLA.
Definitely going to be interesting. But Stanford's been working without Haley Hodson for the last few weeks, so they've been trying to figure out their identity without her.
And of course, Maples Pavilion, always a tough place to win. Stevie Mussey, 31 years old, the second youngest coach in Pac-12 Conference. Keegan Cook of Washington, about 6 months younger.
Right now, one of the Arizona State players has a cut on her hand, so she's getting it taken care of. That's the delay right now.
Being taken care of. And so, Holly, for set number 3, what does Arizona State need to do?
Well, it'd be nice if they started getting some momentum on their side of the net at the end of the second set. Obviously, a pretty tough lead to make up, down 9-20. But one thing is passing and really managing their offense better. Way too many unforced errors in pretty good situations.
Cassidy Pickrell's hand, that looks good. Take a look at the hitting percentage, season hitting percentage. And then tonight, UCLA has raised their percentage, but for Arizona State, they're nowhere close to where they usually are.
And it was decent in the first set. It's just fallen apart in the second one.
And there's something you can build upon. A great kill out of the middle by Okaro.
Good connection, chemistry between setter Nicole Peterson and Oluwama Okaro, number 18. She gets up. Fun player to get to set to.
Formico, perfect. Parker, over to McLean. Uh-oh. Claire Felix was not expecting that. Broken play. Van Winden able to chase it down without taking out our Pac-12 crew. Perfectly dug by Cassidy Pickrell. Is that the angle you were talking about?
Yeah, but that was Tori Van Winden, the 6'3" freshman. But look at, she runs this down, keeps it alive, and then finishes it off with, wow, that is a sharp swing by Tori Van Winden.
So they have 2 people on the left that can hit a crazy, crazy sharp angle. Maybe even more than 2 people. Middle. And it just keeps flowing for Aluma Okaro.
Okaro is very talented, bright future. She's got such a nice range in terms of offense. She can be very dangerous and unstoppable.
Arizona State has some length and some real attackers. Kuntz, Okaro. Wilkie hasn't gotten it going just yet, but they'll get her going. Holly, I realize that you were an NCAA champion, but somewhere along your career you must have had a set like this. Mentally, how do you put this behind you if you're Arizona State?
Well, it's one play at a time. You try and get back your rhythm and get some momentum heading into the next set, and then you know what? If you don't come back, you throw it away and move on. No use dwelling. This ball set right in front of Jenny Frager, who's cheating out to the right side to stop that particular play.
UCLA hitting .350 in this match offensively, and then you just saw their defense. McQueen, there's .350 in this set, excuse me, they were hitting the 100s in the first set.
Lexi McLean with her 3rd kill on 14 swings.
And Michael Seeley thinking about it as he's seeing it all pulled together. The service error puts it at set point for the Bruins.
Freshman Savvy Simo, she is fearless. You think about freshmen putting them on this type of a stage. She is a gamer.
Yeah, Michael Seeley saying, look, running the 6-2, run out of subs. Simo's the one who loses a lot of opportunities. Bruins end it on a big block.
Jenny Frager and Zana Muno with a huge UCLA block to go up 2-0 and into the locker room.
UCLA enjoying their firepower, including Riley Bushler. 7 kills, hitting .538. Pac-12 at Network Studios for the sports report after this.
You're watching
As you look at the superior teams in the Pac-12, 7 of them in the top 25. We're back for the Pac-12 volleyball. Spike Knight, Tashi Kara, UCLA leading Arizona State 2-0. Hi, everybody. Anne-Marie Anderson alongside 3-time Olympian Holly McPeak. Holly, Arizona State, set number 2, not at all what they wanted. What do they need to do differently this set?
Throw that set number 2 away and play like they played in the first set. Just take care of every point. Better decisions offensively and minimize those unforced errors.
A lot went right for UCLA, especially the second set. Our State Farm right combination, Riley Bushler.
Riley Bushler has been fantastic all night long. 7 kills, hitting .538. Lots of solo blocks. Love watching her. Slowed him down one-on-one and then finishing off with the big swing on the outside.
Bushler, one of the many contributors for this UCLA team. Jordan Anderson, 8 kills. It's really been something, Holly, watching them. What do you think of Michael Seeley's new look offense?
I think Coach Michael Seeley has a lot of talent on his bench, on the court, and I like it. I think there's a lot of good volleyball players on the court. Do I think they're playing at the level they can? No, not yet, but this is new, and you know, it's all about getting better every week.
There were 7 blocks in that second set for UCLA, just in the second set alone. Pickrell comes out, takes a big swing. And then picks that up. Middle blocker did not reach back for it, by the way. Got to give a kudo on that. Take a look at the stats through the first 2 sets.
UCLA 24 kills to Arizona State's only 18, but it was the hitting error 16 for Arizona State, hitting .030.
Claire Felix used to being able to reach high and not have it contested as much. O'Caro went wide.
O'Caro had a good-looking swing, trying to hit away from Felix, turning it just wide.
UCLA leading this match 2-0. That one wide by Muno.
Zana Muno trying to just go line drive down the line. Had the right trajectory, just missed.
When we talked with Michael Seeley earlier this week, we asked him, are you committed to using this offense for this weekend, these 2 games? And he's like, I don't know. We'll see what happens after the first one. He's kind of a mad scientist. He'll make adjustments as need be.
Well, he walked into the office Monday morning and Tony Kerr had supposedly broken in and played with the lineup, recommending this, and they liked it. They're going with it, trying something new. They just want to get better.
Van Winden, end of the second set. Strong and starting off the third the same.
I've been impressed by Van Winden in the backcourt as well. At 6'3", she's playing middle back, and she's got lots of range, keeping the ball alive defensively, and then you see the power at the net.
Outside, Bushler. She's untouchable right now.
Just good decisions, working hard on her approach every time. She looks the same every time, getting her feet to the ball to approach. This is a broken play. Riley Bushler works to get outside. Good hard approach, finding a good spot.
What's it like when you're in that zone? I mean, she's got 8 kills now, no errors.
It feels good, that's what but she's working hard. Every action is deliberate. She's not lazy at all. All her footwork is right on, and it's paying off.
This is Maya McClendon putting down a kill for Arizona State.
Beautiful, sharp cross court.
Felix. And Okaro is just waiting for it. She's going to be a blocking force in this conference.
The timing a little off on that middle connection. Claire Felix on the way down, but Okaro way over the net for Arizona State.
Cassidy Pickrell again, back to serve. Okaro trying to be disciplined off that block.
Even when she tips, she's good. This is Riley Bushler's night. 9 kills, 0 errors, 15 attempts, hitting .600 for UCLA.
Riley Bushler had a big night against USC as well to open conference play.
Ryan Chandler with that flat jump serve, just clipping the top of the net and dropping. I think that's the second one that looked just like that.
And taking a look at Arizona State trying to serve tough. 3 aces, 7 errors. UCLA almost 1 for 1. A little touch, and look at the smile on Maya McClendon. She's trying to get everybody pumped up.
Maya McClendon, the younger sister of Deja McClendon, the NCAA champ from Penn State. Very athletic transfer from Louisville.
A lot of Penn State here with Stevie White, Chris Rose. Of course, Penn State upset Minnesota the other day as the topple reaching over the net.
Riley Bushler really aggressive at the net, but setter Nicole Peterson could not go up and get that. If she went up and tried to set it, she would have a free set because Riley Bushler cannot interfere with the setter trying to set the ball.
Stevie Mussey getting some clarification on that one. And Savvy Simo serving. Sky ball. Dug perfectly by Peterson. Bushler again, and Stevie Mussey going to have to figure something out with her Sun Devils.
UCLA picking everything up. Stevie Mussey, assistant coach on the 2014 Penn State National Championship team, said she learned a lot from Coach Russ Rose. She really enjoyed her time there.
Yeah, 2 years under Russ Rose, and she said one of the things she liked about him is that he said he created a special relationship connecting with each player, playing to their strength, but really getting them to buy into working on their weaknesses.
And that's important for a coach. You can't just be black and white. You have to figure out a way to motivate each and every player and connect with them.
And of course, Russ Rose always doing it with humor and a sharp wit. His team didn't start off so strong this year. Got beat by Stanford and Colorado in the Pac-10 Big 12 challenge, or Pac-12 Big 10 challenge, excuse me. But did take a match off of Minnesota the other day.
But I will never, ever count Russ Rose out of the national championship hunt.
No, and I don't think he ever counts himself out either. Meanwhile, the Sun Devils having a much more successful third set.
They're passing the ball well, running their offense and finding openings right behind the block. The defender for UCLA playing too deep behind the block.
Chased down by Muno. Free ball to Arizona State. Harker's pass. That takes the middle out of it a little bit. And then it's sent wide.
There's a broken play for Arizona State. You'd call that a yellow light. Keep it in the court. Just put it in a good spot. That time another unforced hitting error by Arizona State.
Courtney Leffel comes in backcourt for McLean. Freshman out of Flagstaff, Arizona. Getting plenty of playing time this year. Somehow, some way, that worked.
The hitter was way off the net. The timing was off, but the block was not disciplined and well-timed for UCLA. Granted, it was kind of a funky play, but Arizona State gets the break.
Against USC the other night, the Trojans won the first two, and then Arizona State fought back, took set number 3. Can they do it again tonight? Pickrell, straight down, and Felix celebrates.
Cassidy Pickrell not afraid. She wanted to go really aggressive, but Claire Felix all over that ball, and if you see, big reach over the net.
Wow, Pickrell bounces it off of Van Winden. And then Anderson too wide, point for the Sun Devils.
The first ball hit off the top of Tori Van Winden's head. And then Jordan Anderson tries to hit that sharp angle, missing by an inch.
Peterson serve. Van Winden, kill.
Tori Van Winden doing it all that rally. Starts with the pass, gets out on the left pin, and puts it away for UCLA.
Van Winden did not have a kill in the first set at all, and she has come alive since then, being very powerful. 4 kills so far.
Good heads-up play there by Claire Felix. She's seen the little tip drop over. That time she reaches and swats it back for UCLA.
Hallie Harker on the short serve, and Claire Felix has just closed the net.
Arizona State needs to recognize that Claire Felix is cheating out to her right side. If they set a ball closer to the setter, they'll have a much easier attack.
And again, to your point, we're stretched out. Van Winden getting stronger as the match goes along.
Tori Van Winden with kill number 5 from the right side.
Van Winden, a freshman out of Napa, California. Graduated high school early, joined the Bruins in the spring so she could have a little extra training time. And the knuckles by Formico. Cassidy Pickrell trying to make that one work. And Stevie Mussey going to have a word about it. Trailing by 6 are the Sun Devils.
Brought to you by Black Bear Diner. Good old-fashioned family food.
This Pac-12 women's volleyball match is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. And brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Back on the campus of UCLA, Pac-12 volleyball, UCLA leading Arizona State 15-9 in set number 3. Let's take a look at the Bruins' upcoming matches. They're going to host Arizona here, and then they're going to go on the road
to undefeated Oregon in terms of conference play. That should be a good one next Wednesday. And then to Oregon State, and then to the Bay Area, Stanford and Cal. No easy matches.
Back to Cassidy Pickrell. And a broken play, Pickrell picks it up and begs for it. But right into the campfire.
The tip over the block working. Somebody, especially a wing digger, needs to see that and come in and pick that up. Plenty of time to get there.
The second effort from Okaro. And it pays off with the third.
Okaro way over the net, swatting that back. She is definitely a bright spot for the Sun Devils. Look at those high hands throwing it back down over the net.
Peterson outside. McLean, did she get a touch? She did.
Looks like a micro touch.
Quick roll, short serve. And Bushler, another one off the head. McLean, just long. The hitting errors for Arizona State, painful.
Good idea by Lexi McLean to go deep towards the line, just miss. Stevie Messi telling her, keep that ball in play, what Michael Seeley would call a yellow light.
Yeah, there's been 23 attack errors for Arizona State tonight, and that's uncharacteristic, certainly.
Well, that's 23 points for the other team.
Almost an entire set. What do you think of Peterson, by the way, Holly? I mean, I'm watching her hands. You're an NCAA champion setter. After this rally, let's talk about her a bit. Peterson comes through. No touch there.
I like her confidence. She's got nice speed. Runs a pretty nice offense for the Sun Devils. Look at Taylor Formico lay out, pancake dig, keeps it alive for the Bruins.
Service error for UCLA. The Bruins have been in control. First set, tightly contested, came down to 23 all. A couple of points for UCLA at the end. Arizona State second set showing lots of fight. Or third set showing lots of fight.
Lexi McLean, super sharp angle. Stevie Messi told her to be aggressive in transition, and she certainly was, keeping the ball in the court.
Aluma Okaro serving. Back, Van Winden, and that's a tough angle.
I like it when the ball's coming from far off the net. You're right, that's a tough angle. But Tori Van Winden gets her feet to the ball. Beautiful corner swing for her 7th kill.
Yeah, and a right-hander on that right side with that angle, and just a freshman, very composed. Wow, plenty of pressure. Outside again, give you a second chance. She says, how dare you dig my ball?
Feisty Bruins, but Lexi McLean gets another kill in transition for Arizona State.
setting for Arizona State right now. I think they may have just rotated Peterson out with McClendon playing right back defense.
Just for that one particular play. That's why Stevie Mussey was communicating with her players. Cassidy Pickrell's been really struggling from the service line, so she gambled there.
Interesting move. Coach taking some chances, making some adjustments. Pickrell, his pass. Back to McLean.
Lexi McLean, 8 kills on 22 swings. Getting it done on the right side. Saw a little opening down the line and takes it.
Very interesting move by Stevie Mussey. It's 3-point deficit for Arizona State in a must-win set. And this time Zanamuno puts it away.
Zanamuno down the line. That's her 3rd kill. Both she and Tori Van Winden had a slow start, but have really improved as this match has gone on.
Yeah, and Muno has passed so many balls. I mean, it's one thing, as you well know, to look at the attacks. The other thing to look at what she's brought steady in the back.
And then those broken plays, scramble plays, both she and Tori Van Winden, heads up, make good plays when it's broken, and those you can't even stat.
Uh-oh. That was a nice save by Kylie Pickrell. And a dig by Leffel. Pickrell begging for it. Jordan Anderson, super tight roll. Uh-oh. Yes, you can. Pickrell.
Cassidy Pickrell, wow. Long rally, both teams fighting to stay alive, and then Cassidy Pickrell, beautiful turn down the line, nobody home there.
Cassidy Pickrell, such an important cog on this Arizona State team emotionally.
Absolutely, and when Lexi McLean is playing injured and Cassidy Pickrell's out there, she's really important leading when McLean's on the bench.
And Pickrell, a bit of a joker too, tweets a riddle of the day every day. Likes to stump people.
I like that. I need to follow her. There's Zanamuno with her 4th kill.
You want to hear her riddle today?
Yeah.
She told me before the match. All right, here we go. I don't have eyes, but once I did see. Once I had thoughts, but now I'm white and empty. What am I? Cassidy Pickrell, we'll tell you later on. And she passes the ball here. Van Winden, long, Harker picks it up. The defense of Arizona State covering their block, and what's the call? It's a net call against the Sun Devils.
That ball dug tight into the net. Kylie Pickrell, the setter, number 4, trying to save it. I am stumped on that riddle.
Okay, here it is really quickly.
I'm trying to watch volleyball. Now I have to solve a riddle?
I don't have eyes, but once I did see. Once I had thoughts, but now I'm white and empty. What am I? A skull. How about a Halloween riddle? Cassidy Pickrell.
I gotta share that. Thank you, Cassidy Pickrell.
And with that, let's take a look around this conference. Brilliant student athletes everywhere coming up with all kinds of news and notes, including some brilliant volleyball being played.
Pac-12, 3 teams ranked in the top 10, 7 in the top 25, and Washington State has been awesome this season. So fun to watch. One of the best blocking teams in the country, holding their opponents to just 129. When they don't have a stuff block, they touch it and control it to their defense. Really fun to watch. Stanford, first in the NCAA with 3.4 blocks per set.
Yeah, you're talking about Washington State. They've got a battle going on right now. They're leading Oregon State by 2-1. They dropped that first set to the Beavers and have now come back. Meanwhile, in Pauley Pavilion, fans here having a good time cheering on their Bruins. 8 clap looking strong. And Cassidy Pickrell and Arizona State not going to go away. 5 kills, 12 digs. This is a team that has bonded on the road, Holly. 18 of their first 20 matches played on the road.
That's a challenge.
With a first-year coach and lots of new players. How about that? Kuntz.
Jasmine Kuntz, strong blocker, really figuring out her offense in her range, but looked good that time down the line.
Peterson has just come back in to serve and set. You were starting to tell me what you thought of her.
I like her delivery. Very consistent, good feel for the game, bright future.
Just a freshman out of Portland, Oregon. Anderson, picked up by Harker. How about Pickrell? Some strength in that set.
Cassidy Pickrell, she's an outside hitter, but beautiful hand set across the court to Maya McClendon. Wow, big push, and then hole in the block, and McClendon takes advantage for Arizona State. Arizona State having fun. The chemistry is there. They're working hard, and it's hard to be 0-5. But you can see that they're all on the same mission together, and the coaches want it.
Well, this is part of what's happening around the country. Looking at the big picture, new #1 in the ABCA poll this week, Wisconsin.
Yeah, like I said, I believe there's 4 or 5 teams that might take that spot this year. But there's no clear-cut, hey, we're the best team in the country. Florida's very physical. Nebraska's probably the best all-around, most physical. But Wisconsin been playing at a very high level. San Diego, impressive as well, #5. I have not seen them play at this level in a long time, coming back in some rough matches with big wins, only 13-2. And then Taylor Sandbothy, AVCA National Player of the Week from Ohio State, 12 kills, 4 digs, hit .346 versus a very strong Nebraska team.
A lot of strength in it. This national championship is up in the air. It's a matter of who's going to be able to grab it and learn from their mistakes in the matches before. Certainly when UCLA won the national championship in 2011, they didn't have an epic season leading up to that. They had an unbelievable run in November and December and peaked at the right time. Arizona State wants to push it to a 4th set. Anderson, sticky hand on O'Carroll.
Well, for O'Carroll, she is already on the way down. If she could poke it, let it drop, get her both hands down under it, just cannot reach back and lift it like that.
Leffel gets that one before it drops in the corner.
O'Carroll, really fun to watch offensively. Defensively as well, she elevates. Looks like she sees the court pretty well, sees that that corner's open. Good Arizona State kill.
O'Carroll's been part of 6 blocks today for Arizona State. Bushler, unstoppable, unconscious, and error-free.
12 kills by Riley Bushler, hitting .550. Those are impressive numbers for a left side hitter.
Added 4 digs, 3 blocks, and Riley Bushler has been impressive. It is match point for the Bruins. Into the net, and Arizona State with an opportunity. O'Carroll goes back to serve. Mashiwoki up front for Arizona State. It remains match point. And it is Van Winden who puts it away for the Bruins as they sweep Arizona State. UCLA rebounds from the loss to Colorado and takes down Arizona State in the first of their 2 matches this weekend. Arizona up next for UCLA on Sunday in that second set. Decisive. Arizona State fought back in set number 3, making it a tighter contested match, but work for the Sun Devils to get accomplished at home as UCLA starts off their weekend with a win. As the Bruins, Van Winden gets the kill. Michael Seeley joins Holly McPeak.
Coach, what did you think of UCLA 3.0?
You know, I like it. I think it's a great option for us. I think if we can focus on just practicing that for the next 2 months and get better and better and better at it, I think it'll be fantastic. I think it's an advantage that it is so new for us. I think we can get some exponential growth with it.
What did you like about what Riley Bushler was doing tonight?
She was good. I think the offense allows her to get a little bit more one-on-ones. I think what we didn't do great was getting the middles going quick enough. I think we were hanging balls a little bit too much, but like I said, we'll just keep fine-tuning it.
New players in serve receive, was that a key and kind of a reason for the slow offensive start in the first set?
Yeah, you know, it's regardless of whatever offense we've started with, it's not the fault of that. We just had slow starts. We've had people not really ready to go. We're kind of going deer in headlights for the first 10 points. It's something we just got to keep talking about.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Michael Seeley will get to work with this offense again on Sunday as they take on Arizona. But tonight, the Bruins celebrate a sweep over the Sun Devils. For our producer, Billy Chusid, and our director, Brad Toberman, my partner, Holly McPeak, and our fantastic Pac-12 crew, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson saying so long from Pauley Pavilion, where the Bruins swept Arizona State.
Maroon and gold is out in force as a